If even a little bit of that is true, you're going to lose this case. And I'm like thinking, wait, is he talking to the defense lawyer? And then, of course, I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right. He's going to lose this case, Judge. So when I graduated from law school, I didn't want to go work at a large firm. That was something that was very clear to me in law school. I had actually interviewed at a few large firms, and I was not impressed with the culture that was at those firms. And so I thought, I'm going to start my own firm at some point. So, of course, I get out of law school, I come back to California, and I hang out a shingle, and I start practicing out of my house. And I remember this client came to me, and he was I don't even know how he found me. It's so funny when I think back over the years of all the clients that have found us. They find us in some of the funniest ways. But this client found me, and he had a trial that was starting the next day in Victorville, California. And when I went to law school, I thought I was going to be a tax lawyer. So after I got through the first 2 years of courses, in my third year, I didn't take any trial courses because I didn't think I was going to be a trial lawyer. I didn't think I was going to have anything to do with trial work. So I just took as many tax classes as I could. So here I come in, and this guy comes into my home. Actually, I think I met him at a Starbucks, and he's got a trial starting tomorrow. It's a trust matter. I don't know a whole lot about trusts and wills other than what I took when I was in law school in Louisiana, which had to do with a completely kind of different set of law than California. And so I tell the guy, because I'm a young lawyer, young starving lawyer, I'll do your trial for you. I mean, how hard can it be? So all night I typed out my opening statement, and I looked through the sparse file that he brought. I read the trust. I read kind of what was happening. I understood what the defense lawyer was going to argue. And I showed up the next morning in Victorville at 8:30 for the trial to be called to order. And there was a visiting judge from Los Angeles. And if you ever wanted to see the most curmudgeon judge, this was him. I mean, this guy was no nonsense. He had been retired from Los Angeles, but because San Bernardino needed some more judges, he was sitting in up in Victorville. And he was not friendly. He was not happy to be there, I don't think. And he just wanted to get the thing moving forward. So he calls our case, and I step up to the front of the courtroom for the first time in my entire career. And there's an opposing counsel over there looking at me. And I remember it was almost like things went in slow motion. The opposing counsel, he was a little heavy set, and he had a handkerchief, and he had a bald head. And I remember as I was walking up, he pulled his handkerchief out, and he was wiping the sweat off of his head. And I remember it was all going in slow motion, and I'm looking up at this judge, and the judge is like, opening statement, let's go. And so I said to the judge, I was like, Your Honor, can I sit? I didn't know if I should stand or sit. So I said, can I sit while I give my opening statement? And he didn't answer yes or no. Some kind of a grunt came out of his mouth. I figured that meant I could sit. So I read the opening statement. And the whole time I was so scared. And so I get done with my opening statement, and the judge leans back in his chair, and he looks at the defense lawyer, and he goes, before I even hear your defenses to that, if even a little bit of that is true, you're going to lose this case. And I'm like thinking, wait, is he talking to the defense lawyer? And then, of course, I'm like, yeah, that's right. He's going to lose this case, Judge. And so the judge sent us out into the hallway. So we go out in the hallway, and this lawyer takes his handkerchief out again, and he's wiping his head. And he'd been practicing for 20 years, he told me, and he had done a lot of insurance defense. He clearly was a senior lawyer. He had done some trial work, but he also didn't have a lot of experience in trust and estate matters. And so we both were kind of on equal footing as far as understanding trusts and wills went. So he was talking to me in a language that was foreign about, do you want to stipulate and put this on the record? I didn't know what a stipulation was. I didn't know what on the record meant. And so I told him yes to both of those because it makes sense to say yes because he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. Ultimately, the case was settled. My client and his siblings received what they were to get, including a particular couch. This case came down to a particular couch in the house that everyone wanted, and the case was over. I remember walking out of the courthouse that day and this just rush of adrenaline that went through my body. I knew that I had not known anything that I had done that day. I knew I had gone in and had the courage to go in there and do the trial, but it was such a great feeling, the taste of victory, the taste of doing something good for your client. And that was the day that I started my path on becoming a trial lawyer. Now, it's a long, painful path, and I can tell you there's a lot of embarrassing experiences between then and the lawyer I've become today. But I remember that was my first case right when I opened up my own shop, went in there, got a good result for the client by accident, thankfully the sole judge was persuaded by my opening statement, and the opposing counsel agreed. So that was one of my first cases, and in fact that was my first case, and it ended up being a trial, and it's all come from there, and that's where I sit here today.